All right, let's do something a little different today. We're not just going to talk about history, we're going to live it. We're about to step right into the saga of a shield maiden, a story of loss, of training, and a vow of vengeance that's going to consume an entire lifetime. Picture this. The year is 859 AD. You're in Norway, standing just outside your family's longhouse. The air is so cold it bites, the mud under your feet is frozen solid, and then, all at once, the world just erupts. This is where your story begins. Not as a warrior, not yet, but as a child who's about to watch everything you've ever known come to an end. So, this first chapter of your life, it's not written in ink. It's forged in fire and blood. A rival Norse clan comes down on your village like a storm. And for you, this isn't just some raid. No, this is the apocalypse. You're watching it all happen from behind a stack of firewood. You see your father cut down by a man with this awful jagged scar that twists his face into a permanent sneer. Your brothers, they're next. You hear your mother scream your name one last time, and then she's just gone, dragged into the smoke. And the man with the scar? He walks right past your hiding spot, laughing, leaving bloody footprints in the snow. When the smoke finally clears and the screams fade away, you are completely alone. For 3 days, you somehow survive down by the fjord, half frozen, just clinging to the only thing you have left, your father's axe. It's way too heavy for you to even lift properly, but you drag it everywhere. And that's how your uncle, Bjorn, a hardened veteran raider, finds you. Now, Bjorn doesn't offer you comfort. He's not that kind of man. He just looks into your empty eyes and gives you a choice that is going to define every single day of the rest of your life. You don't answer with words. You just manage to lift that heavy axe and whisper about the man with the scar. And just like that, your path is set. And so, the next phase begins. Your childhood, it's over, done. Your uncle doesn't raise you. He forges you like a piece of steel. He trains you harder than any of the boys because he knows that on a battlefield, a woman is seen as an easy target. And you are determined to prove every single one of them wrong. The next few years are just a blur of pain and purpose. At 7, it's the spear, day in and day out, until your hands are basically leather. By 9, you've moved on to the axe, and every single log you split has the face of your enemy carved into it in your mind. At 10, you finally learn his name, Halvar the Cruel. And at 12, you prove you're no longer a victim when you break the wrist of a crewman who thought he could test you. Bjorn sees it, and he knows. You're ready for the sea. Your first real battle is on the English coast. You pour over the side of that longship, axe in one hand, shield in the other, and the first man you face is a monk, on his knees, praying. He just looks up at you, expecting death, and for a split second you hesitate. This isn't Halvar. This isn't the revenge you've been dreaming of. But then you remember your father's throat, your mother's last scream, and your axe falls. But that night, you see a small boy, couldn't be older than 9, hiding behind an altar. He reminds you of yourself that day. The others, they haven't seen him. You could kill him. You know you should kill him. But instead, you just jerk your head towards the forest and tell him to run. It feels like nothing, just a single fleeting moment of mercy. But this one act, it's going to come back to haunt you. So, years pass. You become a seasoned warrior, someone feared and respected. But your life is really split in two. You are the hunter, always chasing down whispers of where Halvar might be. But for a little while, you get to be something else entirely. And then you meet Eric. He's a skald, a poet who fights as beautifully as he speaks. And the thing about Eric is he doesn't just see the killer. He sees the girl you used to be and the woman you could still become. And for the first time in forever, you actually let yourself imagine a future that isn't soaked in blood. Eric understands that rage that fuels you. He tells you that your ghosts are hungry, and you've been feeding them for so long, you might have forgotten who you are without them. He offers you a way out, a chance to build a farm, have a family, to finally be at peace. So there you are, standing at a crossroads. 2 completely different paths lie in front of you. One is the road you've walked for over a decade, a road paved with pure vengeance. The other is a future with Eric, a life of peace. And then, word comes. Halvar will be at the next raid. The choice is made in a single heartbeat. The shield walls crash together. Rain and blood turn the earth to slick mud. This is it. This is the moment your entire life has been building towards, the final payment for a debt that was forged in fire 12 long years ago. And then, through all the chaos, you see him. Halvar. He's older, grayer, but it's him. And the whole world just shrinks to the space between the two of you. You scream his name. You roar the name of the farm he burned, the family he butchered. He's strong, sure, but you are fueled by a kind of rage he just can't comprehend. The fight is brutal, but it ends with your axe in his chest and his body at your feet. You stand over him, breathing hard, and you wait. You're waiting for that flood of satisfaction, of peace, of release. But it never comes. The rage that's been your constant companion for 12 years just vanishes. And in its place, there is only a deep, hollow emptiness. And that emptiness is shattered by a scream. You turn and your world ends for the second time. Eric is on his knees, a spear run clean through his stomach. You run, you crawl, you do whatever you can to get to him, catching him just as he falls.
He manages to touch your face, his hand trembling. He even gives you a faint smile. "Your ghosts," he whispers, blood on his lips. They're quiet now, and he dies right there in your arms. And in that moment, you realize the true price of your victory. You killed the man who destroyed your first family, but it cost you the only person who could have helped you build a new one.
For 6 more years, you keep fighting. Not for silver, not for glory. Revenge is done. You fight because it is literally all you know how to do. You fight because Eric was wrong. The ghosts aren't quiet, they just have new faces now. And then, on a raid in Northumbria, 13 years after your very first battle, fate finally comes to collect a debt you'd long forgotten you even owed. Your ship is ambushed. You are vastly, hopelessly outnumbered. And the man leading the English soldiers? You recognize him. It's the monk child. The boy you spared all those years ago. Well, he's a man now, and he clearly learned a very different lesson from that day. Mercy, it turns out, has a very, very long memory. You form a shield wall. You fight for hours, until your shield is nothing but splinters and your crew is dead around you. An arrow finds your side. You drop to one knee, but you get back up. You lift your axe one last time and you charge. You take 4 more of them with you before a spear finally ends your saga. And in that final moment, as the world goes from red to white to nothing, you finally understand. Valhalla isn't some prize to be won. For a life like yours, a life defined by this relentless, gnawing hunger, it's a release. Her story really forces us to ask a tough question. I mean, the hunt for revenge gave her purpose, it gave her strength, it gave her a reason to survive. But when that final debt was paid, the only thing it left behind was a void. It really makes you wonder, what's truly left when the fire of revenge finally burns itself out?